go home. I'm tired and I wanna go to bed. Had a little drink about an hour ago and it went straight to my head. Wherever I may roam, on land, on sea or foam, you can always hear me singing this song.
So who we're looking at here today in our pictures is the artist by the name of Bryan Hitch. Um, Bryan Hitch uses photo references more than probably any other comic book artist, with the exception of Alex Ross. The difference between Alex Ross and Bryan Hitch is Alex Ross will basically find people to play the roles of Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. He'll have a costume made for him. They will come to his house. He will get them in his photo studio. He will light them so they're dramatic. He takes pictures and then he develops those pictures and then he paints from the pictures. Bryan Hitch still draws, but a lot of times he is using pictures off the internet. And the arguments I've heard against Bryan Hitch have been he does too close to photos. Like most people, not most people, but there are a lot of people who are complaining because he's trying to make it too perfect. Uh, this does slow his time down when he's trying to create a comic book. He's not as fast as everybody else because the amount of time he's spending trying to make it look 100% correct isn't really the best thing to get him a paycheck. Luckily, he has a big fan base and he can ask a pretty large amount of money when he's working. So if it takes him 3 months instead of 1 month to draw a comic book, for him, it's not necessarily an issue. He got famous doing a bunch of different titles. One of them was called The Ultimates. And if we look at the Ultimates, we see a silhouette in the background. Remember, you can use silhouettes in your comic books to fill in people in the background. You see one of Thor. You see one of Iron Man. I'm pretty sure that's Black Widow off there to the right. To the left, on the other side of this wraparound, we see the Wasp, Captain America again, and Giant Man and Iron Man again. Now, while it's called the Ultimates, what team is this really? The team that we've known for the last couple of years that have been huge on the movie screen. Anybody know? What team are we really looking at? We're not really looking at the Ultimates, are we? Name that team. Anybody? Really? None of you guys seen the movie, huh? All right, that is really the Avengers. Uh, what they did is they started them over from the very first issue back in the 2000s, early 2000s, and they made them very, very adult. Um, Hulk kills people. They all kill people in here. The Hulk generally also eats them. So it's a very gritty, very realistic version of what the Avengers might be like if they were in our world or the real world. It's a great series. It's a great read. I highly suggest you go to readcomicbooksonline.com, check it out for free. But a lot of things they've taken and put in the movies, they've taken from this series. Another splash page that we're looking at, it's just the group shot. You got people up close, they're bigger. People heading into the background, they get smaller. This team had two characters, one called the Midnighter, one called Apollo. They were basically Batman and Superman, uh, which this guy originally wrote the story around the Justice League, but he wanted Batman and Superman to be in love. That didn't sit well with DC. So he had to create a completely different team. So that's happened more than once where they go, we don't want you to mess with our established characters. Go come up with something else. And so they end up creating a new team. The Authority was a great book, wonderful read. Um, as we're taking a look at these panels here, we have close-up shot. We have a foreshortening shot of Apollo crashing into the street. As you notice here, all the people that they're fighting are in completely black bodysuits. Why? Because they're basically silhouettes. Easier to draw and easier to draw a lot of them. All right. We see another subtractive or close up shot here. We see a breaking panel shot here. All right. Then we get back to a double page splash page. Um, I really like this one a lot because all these silhouetted bad guys, superhuman bad guys that are attacking them, um, they just they really work the idea of using black outlines so that they could fill the sky. All right. So that might be something you want to think about doing. Please remember, your details do not have to be as precise as this, guys. Um, this is a great scene out of one of the Authority books. This is Midnighter coming across when the bad guy's in the street. He's telling him, put the child down. The bad guy says, no, I leave alone or it dies. Midnighter says, let me make this situation clear for you. I know what special abilities you have. I can see the enhancements. I can detect the increased electrical activity in your brain. That's kind of his power. I know what your moves are you're preparing to make. I've fought our fight already in my head a million different ways. I can hit you without you even seeing me. I'm what soldiers dream of growing into. I'm what children see when they first imagine what death is like. I am the Midnighter. Put the child down. Pretty creepy. Actually, I really like this character. He's like a super mean Batman. Uh, Alrighty, moving on. Wonderful, wonderful worm's eye view here. Obviously, Bryan Hitch loves doing splash pages. Sometimes those splash pages end up being the cover of the comic book, and they just wrap it around the back. What's nice about this splash page and about the sense of space is Midnighter here takes up a huge amount of area, and then the other bodies get smaller as they go up to this point somewhere in the sky that they are focusing on. You don't even really see what it is they're looking at, but you know it's up there somewhere. So it's an intriguing shot, and really, aside from a bunch of broken rocks, there is no background. Did he do stuff in other comics other than Avengers and Authority? Yeah, he did the Fantastic Four for a while, giving us the most realistic looking thing I've ever seen, and a very sad looking Reed Richards. Once again, filling up the space. 66% of that panel, nothing but a head. The other 30%, some faked walls in a building, and the thing. The Gray Hulk comes back in the Ultimates, and Hawkeye becomes the most frightening member of the Avengers because not only does he have kind of a lack of trick arrows in this, he just shoots people. I mean, that's really what he does. So he's kind of like, he's not quite Captain America with a bow, but he's awful close. Whoops, I lost somebody there. Let me look real quick. Nope. All right. This is one where they're using color to show effect. Everything's in oranges except for Captain America's outfit, oranges and yellows to show that things are on fire around them. And you kind of see the brutality in this comic. You see the guy just asked Captain America to surrender, and Captain America, that became a trigger for him. And they fight back and forth, and eventually Captain America hits him with the shield in the middle, pretty much cuts him in half. He goes, "Do you think this letter on my head stands for France?" Um, Captain America is a little bit mean in this book. I mean, he is truly a soldier. He seems like a drill instructor most of the time. So it's not the warm, cuddly, happy Captain America you get from Avengers, the movie. All right, a couple other Batman ones. As we're breaking apart panels, we're seeing a nice fight scene in the library. Um, I would have been hesitant to show these books more than once. You know, I guess he had to because he was going to throw them in a bookcase. But this kind of thing can eat up a ton of time when you're drawing. So if you really want to commit to it, you can. If you don't want to do that detailed of a background, don't have them fight in a library. Or don't have your person hang out in a library unless you show the library books once and then it's all close ups of them, maybe with a stack of books next to them. All right. We also have a very interesting Batcave, and he makes the scene uneasy by angling Alfred's walk up here. In fact, just that angle makes it seem like it would be harder to carry a tray. And I know that's not how reality works in that comic, but it feels like he's fighting gravity to bring Batman a cup of tea. A couple other quick splash pages. We get to see Darkseid holding up Wonder Woman and all the parademons flying from Apocalypse to attack the Earth. When you look at the splash page, more than 60% of this is this character in his arm and Wonder Woman. So this background just becomes kind of an afterthought. And as you look at this crowd scene, yeah, there's a couple of demons that have some detail, but the farther you get back, they're really less and less detail. And that's how he fills it up. Here, Batman's Rogues Gallery. So you get to see all the super cool villains that Batman has to fight. Even Man Bat, one of my personal favorites. Not because he's super cool, he just looks cool. All right, so that's Bryan Hitch. If you want to look up his stuff online, feel free. Check him out. I've stolen poses off of his characters because they are very dramatic. So